Chasing sunsets, painting skies are red. With every mile, a new story sealed. Here we go, Finberries on wheels. Finberries on wheels.
This planning video is going to cover several days. So we'll start on Thursday the 15th of May. We hopefully will be waking up at Delting Boat Club, and we're heading to the Isle of Unst, which is the UK's most northerly inhabited island. So Delting Boat Club is on the mainland, but towards the very north. We're going to drive to Toft, where we will catch our first ferry over to the Isle of Yell. It goes to a little place called Ulster. Don't worry about the caravan site there for now, that we're coming back to that later in the week. We're then going to drive immediately across Yell to Gutcher and take another ferry to Belmont, and that then gets us onto the Isle of Unst. We're going to drive north, and the first place we're heading for is place number 5, which is Bobby's Bus Shelter. Bobby's Bus Shelter is the UK's most northerly bus shelter, but it's a famous bus shelter and it's often photographed because it's been made into a kind of exhibition. Ages ago in the 1990s, a young boy called Bobby, who used to cycle to the bus shelter to catch the bus to school, he found out that the council were going to get rid of the bus shelter, and he wrote to them and asked them not to because he used it, and the council listened to him and kept the bus shelter. But this bus shelter has now become a bit of a status symbol in honour of Bobby, and it has a different theme every year. So I've no idea what this year's theme is, but we're going to go and have a look. Just behind there is the Keen of Hamar, I think that's how you pronounce it, but I don't know, nature reserve. This looks like some kind of rocky wilderness, but from May, and it will be May, it's home to some rare species of plants, some beautiful, delicate looking flowers. So we're going to go and have a little walk around there and see what we can see. Then we're going to head further north to Haroldswick. And on the way there, we're going to visit the Viking Unst project, and that's a replica longhouse and Viking ship. We'll come back to those later. We're hoping to stay at Unst Boating Club, which is back down near Bobby's Bus Shelter. We couldn't get in at the only campsite on the island, which is at Gardysfold Youth Hostel. It was fully booked by the time we managed to book ferries. So we're hoping that because you can't book at the boating club, we can stay there. If not, there are other places where we can stay overnight. On Friday morning, we're going to visit Haroldswick Methodist Church. That's the UK's most northerly church. While we're up in that neck of the woods, we may visit Norwick Beach and possibly even Score Beach. Score Beach is the UK's most northerly beach, and just behind it is the UK's most northerly house. But the roads are quite narrow up there. We'll see how it goes. Then we're going to come back down for lunch at Victoria's Vintage Tea Rooms. They are the UK's most northerly tea rooms. And then we're going to go to Unst Boat Haven and Unst Heritage Centre, and they are close together, and hopefully we'll be able to learn about some of the heritage and the culture of Unst while we're there. On the Saturday morning, stop. All planning from here went totally out of the window, so we may as well not even bother showing you that bit. We went off grid. It's Thursday morning and we've arrived at Toft Ferry Terminal to catch our first ferry to Ulster in Yell. This ferry will take about 20 minutes and the next one only 10, so we'll be staying in the motorhome for both journeys. So we're on the Toft to Ulster ferry from the mainland to Yell, and I have to say we've got some really good driving techniques here. Like, the car in front was parked up, had his handbrake on, and then decided to move his vehicle and nearly reverse into us in the process. He's now gone upstairs and his alarm's gone off, but he's clearly not the only one. We've made it to Unst, the UK's most northerly inhabited island, and we drove to the north of the island to Bobby's Bus Shelter. We're at Bobby's Bus Shelter, which is the most northerly bus shelter in the UK. This bus shelter was nearly taken down many years ago, and a schoolboy called Bobby asked the Shetland Island Council to rethink that because he used to cycle here to catch his bus to school, and he didn't want to, in the winter, spend his time waiting in the wind and the rain. It's a really beautiful day still today, but the wind is quite strong here. Every year this bus stop has a different theme, and it's decorated in Bobby's honour. This year the theme is bees, and I don't know what they've used to make the sound effects, but it does sound like there's a rather distressed bee somewhere in the bus shelter. There's a bookshelf and flowers and little bees. It's beautiful. I mean, I know I'm not the greatest fan of bees, but it is still quite cool. Good afternoon. It's Thursday the 15th of May, and we are now on the most northerly isle of Unst, and this is where we're going to find the most northerly everything, I think. We've already passed the most northerly bus stop, Bobby's bus stop, and we've just been for a walk to the Keene of Hamar Nature Reserve. The Keene of Hamar is a special geological site where the rarest of rare flowers grow. There's one particular flower that only grows here and nowhere else in the world. We've taken some photos, don't know if it's of that particular flower, we'll find out later. The Keene of Hamar looks like a wasteland, but it was formed over 10,000 years ago. The ground there is made from frost-shattered fragments of serpentinite. It sits on the Shetland ophiolite, which I'll say more about later. It looks like nothing could live here, but if you look really carefully, there are tiny flowers growing. Edmondson's chickweed grows here and nowhere else in the world. I don't think we actually saw that one, but we did see a variety of others. I've tried to identify as many as I could. We're now going to head a little bit further round the road to the Viking Unst project, and we'll see you there. After visiting the Viking Unst project, we drove even further north to Norwick Beach. This is probably the second most northerly beach in the UK, but Score Beach, which is a little further north, wasn't accessible by road at the moment. Norwick Beach is really interesting. It's another site of geological interest. Remember I mentioned the Shetland ophiolite? Well, you see this up close here. 420 million years ago, the oceanic crust and the edge of the continent crashed into each other, and the crust was pushed up through the surface of the earth, and it stuck like that. It's called an ophiolite. Here at Norwick Beach is a line of rocks which is that ophiolite. On one side you're on the old North American continent, on the other side you're on the oceanic crust. That aside, it was also a lovely sandy beach, and we had a wonderful afternoon playing with Liggy and chatting to some other motorhomers. At that stage we didn't really know where we were going to spend the night, and we ended up making a spur-of-the-moment decision to stay at Norwick Beach. We had a really peaceful night with 4 or 5 other groups. It was absolutely wonderful, a new experience for us, and one that ended up with us throwing the rest of the plans out of the window and having an impromptu adventure. Good morning, it's Friday the 16th of May, and we've just arrived at Britain's most northerly church, Haroldswick Methodist Church. The views from up here are stunning. I feel like I'm saying that a lot though. It's very windy and the church is open. There's a large car park, an external bell tower, and then the main church building, which is small and quite plain to look at, but with the most gorgeous views over the surrounding countryside. Neil was particularly impressed that they had a big bank of solar panels. Although Shetland does get a lot of wind and rain, in the summer they also get almost constant daylight, so solar's a good option. In one corner of the grounds was a stone with the date 1881 on it, so I assume that's when this church was first established. We're currently in the Unst Heritage Centre, which talks about the life of crofting and how people live on the island. It's also got a lot about the geology of the island and how the Earth's crusts formed Fetler and Unst. Some beautiful examples of lace. Lace making here is quite a common craft. It's Friday afternoon and we're at Unst Boathaven, which is really quite nice. It's very peaceful and calm in here. There's some lovely music playing in the background, and it's basically just all about boats, fishing, and the culture of the island. Yeah, it's just really nice. There's some beautiful pictures. After this, we didn't video anymore. We visited various other places, posted a couple of postcards from the UK's most northerly post office, filled up with fuel at the most northerly filling station, and then headed south to Uyeasound, where we could empty the toilet. Then we stayed the night at Unst Boat Club, and on Saturday we went back over to Yell a day earlier than planned. We didn't do very much on Yell, so I've just tacked some photos on the end of this video to finish off our Northern Isles journey. The next video will be back on the mainland. See you there.
Wheels are rolling on the road ahead, chasing sunsets, painting skies are red. With every mile, a new story sealed. Here we go, Finberries on wheels. Finberries on wheels. Finberries on wheels. The earth is our map, freedom and adventure, no room for a gap. Through mountains and valleys, every place reveals the joy of the journey. Finberries on wheels. Campfires glow under starry night skies, home on the road where the spirit never lies. Wind in our hair, we know how it feels, the call of the wild. Finberries on wheels. Engine hums its tune, the heartbeat sings, life on the move, oh the joy it brings. From coast to coast we break all seals, stories of magic, Finberries on wheels. Finberries on wheels. The earth is our map, freedom and adventure, no room for a gap. Through mountains Finberries on